Hi, beautiful souls. It's Tan back here again today on this Astrology, Human Design, and Gene Keys channel. And today we have picked one of the winners for our free mini reading. Yes. So today we're going to be doing a sample reading for Kathy. Congratulations, Kathy. And we're super excited to be doing this for you. So in this reading, we will be going through your sun, moon, and rising, the basic three, but we're going to overlay that with human design and with the gene keys, because that's how we like to do it. And we think that that can really give a lot of depth into your charts. So that's how we would usually do readings, that when clients are purchasing a reading from us. And then we're going to add a little bit of the Jupiter Uranus conjunction transit towards the end of the reading. So you can kind of see how this Jupiter Uranus conjunction that's happening in April might affect you. So yeah, we usually do a little bit of a meditation at the beginning of our readings, but for the purpose of this being on YouTube, we are going to just kind of skip that part a little bit and jump right in to your charts as to not waste any time. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce Sarah and Cindy, who are also here, of course. And you guys have met them many times. And this is like kind of like what we would do when we do a trio reading, which is three people for one birth chart with astrology, human design, gene keys, with three systems, three people, one birth chart kind of energy. Okay. So here we go. Can you guys see the chart?
Yep. Lovely chart.
So here we have, Kathy, your chart, and with the birth information that you gave us, which we thought maybe it's better to not share this, is that you have a rising or ascendant in Libra here at 16 degrees, with your sun in Leo at 9 degrees and your moon in Aries in the 7th house, 26 degrees, and your sun is in the 11th house. So I don't know if we want to do like what we would usually do, which is have Sarah just give us her first impressions and initiate us into the reading.
Yeah, totally. Well, when we see Libra on the ascendant, we think harmony, we think somebody that really wants to stay in balance with their environment and those around them. And this also kind of brings about some artistic abilities and just an eye for art, you could say. And with the sun in Leo, I should say also, when we talk about the ascendant, we're talking about the frames through which this individual might see the world, or this can also describe their personality. Then we also have the sun, which is going to be the ideal to which one strives. This is more of the plot of the story. So, where we were just talking about the character, this sun is representing the ideal to which the individual is striving. And when it's in the sign of Leo, it is especially in the 11th house, it's going to be a leader, somebody that's, got the spotlight. The group is looking to them for the hopes and the wishes and the dreams to come true. And then with our moon here in the sign of Aries in the 7th house, that's I always talk about Aries as spicy, and this continues to come up, but this is somebody maybe that likes to take action in routines, because the moon is describing our environment. It's also our relationship with our mother, and that has something to do with waking up every day and having a routine or a pattern. It might not necessarily be the same every day with Aries, because there's a lot of newness and initiation and pioneering with that. So, especially in the realm of partnerships and how you are relating in partnerships, because this is in the 7th house. So that's my general feels.
That's beautiful. So I
Yeah.
would maybe just move on, because I love to talk about the sun here in the gate 33 or Gene Key 33. Is that okay if I continue with this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 33 is such a beautiful and powerful energy. It comes right out of the throat center, as you can see here in the chart. And it is embodying the archetype of the shaman, or also the medicine woman, for example. So as this is your sun, it's part of like your incarnation cross, which makes approximately 70% of your personality. And so with this medicine woman as your main character in your chart, it is really like you're somebody who is collecting all the medicines, all the tools that have helped you on your journey through life. And you're collecting them in order to create kind of like a ritual around them or contemplate on them, to keep all the stories, all the experiences, not only from you, also from the people around you that somehow relate to those medicines or tools that you have found in your life that made your life better and more fulfilled, let's say, on healthier, whole, I would say. And with this gate or with this archetype, there also comes a great need for peace and for quiet, because you need a lot of time to actually reflect on all these experiences that you have gained, all the stories that you have collected, all the tools that came to you. And then you have to integrate your wisdom. So on the other side, you're also really attuned to nature, which we can see on like the opposite side in your human design chart. It is the gate 19, which is highly sensitive and really like highly in tune to the rhythms around you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I look at this incarnation cross, which you're born at the cross of the four ways, I like to call it the four walls, because it does mean that like you do need that four wall, like you need space for yourself to retreat. So like what Cindy say, to contemplate on life and things like that. And when we look at the gene keys, we see that the sun is what is called the life's work in the gene keys. And there's 3 different levels of energy frequency. There's a shadow, a gift, and a siddhi. So the shadow here is called forgetting. And this is kind of when we're living in fear and our heart is constricted. You may step into the frequency of forgetting. And when you forget, you may also be tapping into the 19, which is the Aquarius energy opposite to your sun, that is called codependence. So forgetting and codependence is sort of like, you forget yourself and you might have other people depending on you, and then you're kind of feeding into their dependence. And that's not empowering for them. So, sometimes the cross of the four ways, they call it the cross of you are here in this incarnation to make sure that other people are taken care of. That's how they sometimes describe that. And I think, but here's the balance of you can give a lot, like you can be independent, and you have, an ability to be sensitive and to maybe give, this sacrifice, like giving without taking from yourself in a very unhealthy way. It's giving in a healthy way when it becomes the siddhi. But if you forget to come back to yourself, to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself, to give yourself the 4 walls, it's possible that, you may give too much, or you may sort of enable somebody else's patterns that might not be healthy for them to continue, which is also codependence here. But it's really beautiful energy. Like Cindy was saying, also this mindfulness energy. So you can see that any kind of mindfulness practices would be very healthy for you and how you want to shine in the world and what you want to bring to people in the world. Maybe that's meditation, maybe that's yoga, or, just to be aware of what you say, how you act, what you do. This is mindfulness already. It's to be here in the moment and being aware. And also, because this is a Leo energy, these people who have the 33 sometimes live a life that's very worth remembering too, which is like forgetting, and then we have remember, right? You forget or you remember, the opposite. So it can kind of be like maybe your life, if you're living a life that, people can write about, they can write a book about, or they can make a movie out of, or they can write, a biography from. Something like this is really worth sharing. You're here to sort of share the magic that happens in your life and inspire others in this sort of Leo energy.
Why being patient, I would say as well, because like if we consider a medicine woman, they really need time and experimentation to see what really works.
Ooh,
Can be
like that.
trial and error, of course. And with your 3rd line in human design, that's something that is actually like your gift to go through periods of trial and error, and then others can actually learn from your errors as errors, or what we call mistakes as well.
Okay, so that's how we would look at your sun. Do we want to move on to maybe her moon or rising? What do you guys feel?
Let's go moon. Let's start fire and
Okay.
then cool off with air.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, the moon on the descendant in the seventh house in Aries. That's interesting because Aries is like a very independent moon sign, and I'm not sure how this Aries moon feels in the seventh house, because seventh house is about the other, right? But I think that there's something to be learned with all Libra risings, is to find that balance and to know that Aries always comes with Libra and Libra always comes with Aries. We don't have one without the other because they're opposite signs. And so I feel like there's something about this Aries moon which like can be very passionate, about initiating others, about initiating relationships and things like that. And that can be very beautiful energy too. But at the same time, keeping in mind that you also want to bring the moon to yourself at some point, because the seventh house is like the house of other. So you also want to make sure that like this moon that can be so nurturing in an Aries style, which is just like, I feel like it can be that energy of like, motivating people, you can do it, that kind of an energy that it's really you're giving to the other, but you need to also give that to yourself to make sure to also motivate yourself to bring it sort of like into the first house. And because the seventh house can also be like the house of our shadow self, we don't really see what's there, but if you can see that this is something you can give to yourself, I think that can be really powerful.
Yeah, I'm sensing that you're really able to give the good advice, like this is what one should be doing, this is the routines that you should have, and then not implementing those yourself. So that might be the way that manifests, is like, I can fix everybody else's problems. I know exactly what would medicinally work for you, but I haven't even considered that I'm running on empty and I haven't, refilled my own tank.
Yeah, just keeping in mind that you are a projector too, being like this mental projector. And, you have two core parts of you, which is the sun and the moon, in the two houses, the 11th and the 7th, which is about other people. And so all of that is really a gift because, yeah, projectors are here to see the other, to see into others, right? But then also projectors can also like find it hard to really see themselves or to find people that can really recognize and see them for who they are, because you need to recognize and see yourself first for other people to see you. And that's always a lesson of the projectors.
Yeah. And definitely also that Aries energy here in the 7th is like that leadership energy that we have, especially if it comes to transforming chaos into something innovative. And then I think we're already moving a little bit into the gene keys and human design. So the gate 3 is coming out of the sacral center. And so since you're a projector, your sacral center is undefined. So it's going to be activated through other persons, for example, or through transits. So it's important to have that in mind, how you're kind of operating with that energy. The gate 3 is like, if you imagine a child that is playing with some like Lego or stuff like that. They really enjoy to build something up, but then they're gonna just destroy it and create something new. And I mean, if we're honest, in real life it's the same, or in our society. In order to create something new, we have to have chaos first and then transform it into something new, in a new order, basically. And this is this innovative energy that you're bringing here with your Aries moon. It's like I would say, really transformative leadership energy that can be in your romantic relationships, but can also be in your business relationships, for example. That like the way you're living that.
Well, what I always like to add is the distinction between Aries, well, really Aries and any fire sign, but Aries and Leo particularly. So Aries, well, we'll start with Leo. Leo leads for the sake of an audience. You know, I want to be seen for my leadership, and there's something to that. It's like I feel validated, where Aries just doesn't want to be told what to do. So that's the difference in why Aries chooses leadership. It just doesn't want somebody else to tell it what to do. So think, yeah, in those with regards to your routines, your emotions, and all of these themes of the moon.
Mm. Yeah, and having the moon here, there's like this inner self part of you that's very playful, very humorous, and just wants to be like a child. And I think Richard also says that this one is about all play and no work. So I think that innately, what you really desire with this moon is to make play your work and then not have to really view it as work. I think that's important as a projector too, because you're here to sort of guide us into like a new way of working in the world. And that would mean like your hobbies are your work. You make money from your hobby. I shouldn't feel like that 9 to 5, like that drag, like I just got to do it for the money, even though I don't like it. You're here to sort of like change that paradigm. How can you be an example leading us with your Leo energy into this way of working where you just want to get up and you just want to have fun and you enjoy your work every single day because it's so fun and it's like play. Yeah, so I think the next part that maybe we want to touch on is also the rising sign for Kathy. So we have this Libra rising, and I also got this overlay which overlays your charts on top of the human design. And then we can see that your ascendant is falling into gate 57, which is a really, really beautiful gate too. And this is the gate of the intuitive. And it's one of the most intuitive gates in the whole of human design and the gene keys. And just, yeah, it's here. And so I think that, the ascendant can sometimes show us how we come across to others, but it's also a part of our path in life, like the journey that we have to take in life. And I think here that you may come across to others as being very gentle. There's a gentleness about you. But of course, then we have done the opposite, which is your descendant, which would be the opposite of gentleness. It's the shocking energy. So when people are actually in a relationship with you or you're forming some kind of partnerships, wow, you're like, there's something about you that's just like, different. And that's always the case with all opposing signs. But in your case, it's the opposite of gentleness and shocking energy. And this one is really like the intuition in the body. So your path here, your journey of life here would also be how to listen to your body, knowing when your body feels uneasy with something and how that feels. And your body is completely open too as a mental projector. Yeah. So like all of this is like so open. So yeah, having some time in nature or some time with yourself to get in touch with your body so that you can kind of differentiate between the natural self and the fear, nervous, anxious self. When you can distinguish the difference between those things, you can know when something feels intuitively right and when something is off.
Yeah, I want to add, just because this one I also have personally, it's oftentimes releasing your abdomen, releasing any pressure in your jaw. Like these checks that you can do, the body scans, really help you to determine or distinguish unease from intuition. I think these are very easy to confuse. So listening to your body, softening into your body, and Libra is an air sign, so it tends to stay in the, up here. And so it's really important to ground that in.
Yeah, and maybe even like with the areas on the other side, if you feel anxiety, I think like through that fire in your moon sign, it's especially important to get like that energy out of your body and like move it. If you feel that unease in your body, just find like some physical movement, for example, or dancing or Yeah, whatever you like, actually, in order to move those energies and get them going, move them out of your body if there is anxiety or some kind of like negative excitement or something like that.
Yeah, embodiment, embodiment practices and things like that. Okay, so we are reaching the end of the reading, and so we want to do one last thing for you, which is having a look at the transits. So I'll let Sarah guide us into the transit.
Yes, I think there will be some commentary here because what we have in this chart is that Jupiter and Uranus, they're in that 8th house in Taurus, is square to the natal Jupiter, which is in the 11th house over there. Yep, exactly to the degree. So this individual
Wow.
is experiencing a square from this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which we should say is very shocking in and of itself, because Uranus brings that revolutionary change and Jupiter is expanding. So you can think of this as something very big happening in the 8th house. The 8th house is a little bit mysterious in some ways because it has to do with how we, the esteem of others, you could say. So how others find value in us. And sometimes that can be to do with financial matters like joint ventures or debts, loans, taxes, alimony, all those kinds of things. It can also have to do with secrets and keeping secrets, whether or not you can keep a secret. That makes you very valuable if you can. Or also, people will describe this as a house that has to do with the taboo. So things in the esoteric world and maybe expanding in that area of life. And that is a square to your 11th house, which is causing maybe a decrease in those networks that you really like to have big networks because you have Jupiter and Leo. And so really like expansion in this house is what you're accustomed to. Wishes, hopes, dreams, all of that optimism being fulfilled. And the square is bringing in well, Taurus brings in a little bit of practicality, you could say, because it's an earth sign. So what I sensed is that this big thing that's going to happen in the 8th house around how others find value in you or the esteem of others, you could say, is in a clash with your desire to be in these big organizations, these big groups, because maybe some of those people don't like your new way of being, and those people are going to fall off. And don't worry, because you have Jupiter in that house, so you will get another expansive network, but it might cause a little bit of a disruption here.
Yeah, I gotta bring a little bit of gene keys into this too, because I saw that your Jupiter was in gene key 4.
Or
Yeah, so in the 4th one. And you can see that's understanding. And so I feel like, if you're feeling stuck with say money purposes or property, real estate, investment of some kind, any of the 8th house topics or something psychological block or whatever, I feel like this Jupiter conjunct Uranus is going to help you to break through into an understanding. That's the positive aspect of this in a sense, break through into an understanding of like a new way of how this could be done. Not sure if new is the word. Yeah, it's like a breakthrough, a paradigm, a shift, or a paradigm shift in how something can work better for you that maybe you didn't quite know how it could be before. But with this new understanding that's coming in, maybe it helps you to, break the pattern and get things moving after this kind of moves out, after the Jupiter Uranus kind of moves away from it a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, I would actually also almost sense that it's helping you to move through some distraction that you by default maybe have in your life in general, because it's also gonna, I mean, you have your Chiron in the 11th house as well, conjunct your sun. And so it can be, I think, easy for you also through all that openness in your chart to actually be overstimulated by your surrounding and by the people around, so that you can easily maybe lose focus of what really matters, let's say. So maybe with that square, I could imagine that it's helping you to actually discern or a little bit and really decide what is important in this time of the year or whatever, and what you can leave on the side.
Yeah, final
Beautiful.
take is soothing. It's going to soothe the financial complexities.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, yeah, so Kathy, that's going to be it for our mini reading for you today. We enjoy this as usual, of course. We love to go through these systems. And if you guys out there are watching and you would like a reading from us, from the three of us, then you can visit our website, hyphensoul.com, and just kind of browse around and see what feels right there for you. And this is the kind of reading that we do. We come together with our energies and create magic in this little container that's very unique. And I don't think that there's another reading like this out there in the world, right? We're just pioneering this, just kind of going with it, going with our intuition. Yeah. All right. So that's it. And sending everybody a beautiful day. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and leave any comments below if how you feel about this. And if you have other like insights for Kathy, then just comment below. Okay. Bye, everyone.